welcome on a cold, cold day here at McShane, Detroit in black and white. I'm Adolph Mongo. Jim Nardone, how you doing?
Good morning.
Allan Lengel. Hi, Allan.
Good morning. Good morning.
And live from Toledo, Vanessa Moss, attorney Vanessa Moss. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing just great. It's cold, but listen, for everybody that's watching this show, we want you to hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. That's very important. We want you to subscribe and share. We also want you to join in the audience by putting your comments in the comment section. You're more than welcome to come down to McShane's to participate. But we also want you to join us every Wednesday and Friday evening from 8:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. and every Saturday morning from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning. Welcome to Detroit in White.
Okay, welcome. Ladies first. Your outrage of the week, Vanessa.
So I'm sure you guys have read about this. How all these Detroit police officers don't have a license to be police officers. Now, how that is outrageous, because as a defense attorney, you think about, listen, you guys are out here making arrests, doing your job per se, but you didn't even go through the process, or somebody didn't make sure that these people were legally able to do their job. The problem with that, and the reason I'm outraged, is what impact is that going to have on those people that have been arrested by those very same officers? How many cases have gone through the court system by these Detroit police officers? And how did that go unnoticed? Now, we have a new police chief, and I'm sure this is the last thing that he wants on his plate, but that is outrageous. You're talking about a miscarriage of justice. That is outrageous.
We have former police chief here. How did that happen, Jim?
Well, I'm just going to say this. So these were certified Detroit police officers that left for another agency. They were certified when they were on Detroit. They were certified when they went to their next department, and they came back to Detroit. And somewhere in the process, the Detroit Police Department, the city of Detroit, failed to submit their paperwork for certification. So this isn't on the police department, if you ask me. It's on the personnel office, whoever's in charge. So all they had to do was check off a couple boxes and send the paperwork back to MCO, the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards. So they are all police officers. They're probably certified. They just were not, their certification was not transferred over to the DPD.
So you let me. But what you're stating is as if this is just minute. It's not an important detail. It's not important. Why is it? Why is the way prosecutor?
I didn't say it wasn't important. That's not what I said. I did not say it was not important. They are probably not certified as Detroit police officers right now. They are certified police officers. We're losing you, Vanessa.
But Kim Worthy now has jumped on this and says, I need the names. What can Kim Worthy do? Are they going to throw out some of these cases?
They potentially could.
Well, I think the question was, what I was reading is that there's a possibility that if they were working with another officer who was certified, the case might be okay, but there are some questions they're trying to figure out legally if these officers who made arrests and responsible for court cases, if it's going to be impacted. I think it's not clear right now, but it's really a paperwork thing, not just a screw up by the city.
Paperwork.
Well, when you leave a police department, your certification remains valid for 2 years. It's just it has to be. I guess you have to reinstate it, but it's still valid. So within 2 years after I left the police department, all I had to do was submit the paperwork, and I could have joined any other police department. So probably most of these officers, they're going to argue, are certified. they just weren't certified by the Detroit Police Department.
Well, that's a problem.
And that's not a police department problem. That is, again, somebody failed to submit the paperwork.
And somebody, and so we can actually they can throw out some of these cases that these cops was investigating.
I think they're trying to figure that out, but it's the personnel, you know, it's human resources. I mean, you have a human resources department. You have to make sure everybody look, when I did even in 2016 and 2018, I was doing stuff for ABC News. They made me give them a birth certificate. They, you know, all these kinds of things, their personnel department, you know, I mean, it's just, you know, really incompetence on the part of the personnel.
Well, we had a police chief here at one time that wasn't certified. We had a police chief that couldn't carry a weapon.
But there is a distinction. You do not have to be certified to be a police officer. Police chief in the state of Michigan. You do have to be certified to do law enforcement.
At one time had a police commissioner that was a former newspaper reporter. So, you know, you're absolutely correct.
Who was that?
But, Ray Gerard. He was AP. He covered the cops, and then he got appointed police chief. Sound familiar? Sound like new cabinet picks in DC.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was she stole my thunder when she said about the cops. Allan, your outrage of the week.
You know, I'm watching some of the cable news, and they're still wringing their hands over the election and stuff like that. I think, you know, whatever. There's a million reasons. You could say the Gaza war. You could say the economy, inflation, whatever. But I mean, the biggest concern for Democrats is that their guaranteed base of people, of minorities, of labor, they're losing it, and they have to figure out. It's not that hard to get it back from the Republicans, because the Republicans really aren't offering really anything great for labor, but they have to figure out how to get back. But Adolph, you know, has brought it up a lot of times. Their ground game was horrible. Even in Michigan, they thought they were so well organized, but they were organized by these people who were intellectually. You know, you start bringing in the Ivy Leaguers who theoretically know everything, and then you got guys like Adolph Mongo who've been on the ground, who understand how it works, and you know, they should have been in touch with, you know, people on the ground.
But they wasn't in touch, and people they still upset about Trump getting elected and saying all this stuff. I remember when Coleman Young called Ronald Reagan prune face when he was running for president. And after Reagan got elected, they said, "Okay, Mr. Mayor, what do you call him now?" He said, "President prune face." In other words, he's the president. Whether he's the president felon, president rapist, president idiot, President Trump, he's the president. And we're going to have to deal with it for 4 more years. So they need to get over it. They need to have a strategy, and they need to put a strategy together to get back their base.
Right. So, and I think also what they were talking this morning on MSNBC, which I agree, is that they have to stand up for what the principles are. When you have a person like Pamela Bondi, who is obviously more qualified for Attorney General than Matt Gaetz, but she's an election denier. She's already, you know, in the past year talked about the being vindictive and going after people in the you know, the Attorney General's office and stuff like that.
Well, she found her ass in jail like John Mitchell. We have had attorney generals that went rogue and shit.
Right.
Listen, we just wait and see what the moderate Republican Party base do when they come before the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go with the party line, or they're gonna say, "Hey, wait a minute, you can have that person, you can't have that person." You know, we'll see. You know, otherwise it's a slam dunk all the way around. Say, give the president what he wants. Jim.
I'm not going to have an outrage. I'm just going to have a reminder to our viewers, everybody that's out there today. This is past week on Wednesday. I went and I got 2 vaccinations. I received the updated COVID in one arm and the flu shot in the other arm. So if you're waiting, the holidays are coming. Get out and get your shot if before the Republicans stop you. And that's a joke. Before they don't let you get your vaccine and try to kill your kid. Please all get your vaccine if you don't want to be down for 2 weeks during the holidays.
We got an insane a guy that's gonna be running or whatever, Health and Human Services, and just for an update, Trump has appointed a African American to his cabinet.
Doing what?
Housing secretary.
Okay. I'll say also he actually appointed a woman from Oregon who just lost her, a Republican who lost a re-election bid for Congress, who is actually pro-labor, who was appointed.
I'm sorry, excuse me for a minute. You guys, listen, I don't know if the audience can tell, but it's I can hear every other word. You cut in and out.
Well, I can hear
That's
more than that.
You've been going in and out.
It's me?
I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Yes.
But I was going to say, it's heartening, but it's interesting that the Teamsters were pushing for her, and the Teamsters really stayed out. Didn't endorse, so probably Trump owes him something, and so they did appoint this woman who's pro-labor. So I was kind of shocked by that, because usually in these type of administrations, we see a labor secretary who's anti-labor. We see, education secretary who's anti-education, which we may end up having in this case. But
okay, yeah. Well,
it's just Vanessa's audio.
Okay,
I'm getting a text.
Okay, fine. Well, this is Detroit in Black and White. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about, the amount of money in college sports.
Let's do that.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a 9th grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Well, welcome back to Detroit in Black and White.
Adolph, we've got Karen Winston. I'm curious. She says that she struggled, that the circle for president was the last one she filled in. And she says, I couldn't vote for Bidenomics again. I'm curious. I'm assuming she voted for Trump. I'm curious why, if she wants to write us and let us know.
Well, she didn't say she voted for Trump. She just said she can't.
And look, she voted for him because she wanted to.
Well, I mean, I'd like to understand why. I mean,
If
I
I,
get
if I
that.
Look,
Uh,
I like that commercial. It ain't none of your business. Okay.
Well, it is. If she's talking about it, it's my business. I would like to hear about it. I'm curious. I want to
and
learn.
Karen's a former City of Detroit IBW
Right.
union member, if I remember right.
Listen, people vote for, they can vote for a dog. That's what they want. I don't care. Trump is elected, and I'm moving on. We'll see what he does in these next 4 years. I think that his administration is going to blow up in the second year. We're going to see the Democrats take the House.
Well, we're going to find out. Let's
Yeah.
see how the chief of staff, if the chief of staff, effective as they say she is, if she's there in 2 years, he has a chance to have a successful program. If she's gone in 6 months, we're in trouble.
There's no question about it.
My prediction, I predict she won't
something.
last. I predict that she will not. I think here's the thing. A narcissist has difficulty having healthy relationships. I predict that he will not last. She won't last. I've heard that she's actually very competent. I think he's going to step over the line with her at some point. She's going to draw the line, and he's going to say, "You're out of here."
Allan,
I don't care. I don't care. I don't. At this point, I don't care. I don't care about whether Trump appoint Milky the Clown to his cabinet.
wait a
Maybe
minute.
he did.
Yeah, you know what? I saw a video where about 20 clowns were going into the Senate, being confirmed as a cabinet member. So yeah.
My question to Allan, he called the president-elect a narcissist. People are using that term very fast and loose these days. Has he been diagnosed as a narcissist?
You know
Allan?
what? You know what? I'm
How do
sorry,
you know?
Vanessa, because I've known narcissists, and I know a narcissist when I see one. His traits are so. I mean,
Well, we're
you know,
not gonna let Trump get locked up in my head today.
Right. I'm just saying. I know a narcissist when I see one. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
I want to say he's a lot of things, but let's move on to another
Right.
subject. Let's talk about the $12 million that the University of Michigan given a 17-year-old high school football player to come play at their school. Does this destroy college sports? Jim, I'll go to you. You're a Lion fan. You love the Lions, and they're doing great. But
I don't think it's good for college sports. I don't think $12 million to a 17-year-old is an effective use of money. But Larry Ellison, the guy that financed it, I know they've been talking about this. David Portnoy said that he was going to give $3 or $4 million. It's turned into professional sports, is what it's done, and that's being run, in my opinion, by the gambling organizations. The gambling companies are what are running professional sports today.
Well, look at
Go
Michigan State. I mean, look at the coach of Michigan State. What's his name? Tucker. Who was it? Gilbert and Matt Ishbia. Weren't they giving him? He got a $90 million contract. I mean, I think the problem is
he jacked it off.
Yeah. And I think what we're seeing here is that, look, players have been exploited for decades and decades, where the universities have made so much money, and now we're kind of overcompensating. And it's like, there should be moderation. I mean, I worked as a janitor in college to make extra money, and I thought I had money. But when these guys are in college and have, that kind of money, it's insane.
Well, you got Vanessa. Let me ask you this question: if you had a son or a daughter that was a great athlete and stuff, would you encourage them to say, get paid?
Listen, Allan just talked about how these universities make all this money. If they can afford to pay this kid $12 million. You can imagine how much money they're making. He also talked about how these kids have been exploited for years. I say it's reparations. So yeah, if it was my son, I would say get the money.
But everybody, listen, on the team is not getting $12 million. I'm a reserve football player. What am I getting?
$500 a month.
And what am I getting? You
Listen,
making
life is
12
not
million,
fair.
I'm making $1.
Right, right. I mean, it's
And it's
look.
a donor that paid for it. It's not the university; it's a private donor.
Right. For so long, we look. Let's put it this way. Adolph had a magazine called Champions, and he had me do a story on Magic Johnson when he was a senior at Lansing Everett High School. I met him. We met up at a Shell gas station in Lansing. Here's a kid, a senior in high school. He pulls up in a deuce and a quarter, a Buick, which at the time was a pretty expensive car. He was being taken care of already. All these kids. I used to sit in front of Bessie Hall in Michigan State, and these football players would pull up in their Thunderbirds and stuff like that.
But it was only a few, Allan. I saw it. It was only a few. The rest of them didn't have a pot to piss in.
Right, exactly.
Couldn't buy a fucking hamburger. It got penalized if they took a quarter. Chris Webber and all them got demonized because they took money from a guy that was a gambler. Now the NFL and the NBA, they in bed with the same people that they penalized Chris Webber and Jalen Rose and all the Fab Five with. And now it's a great thing. Well, I got offered $10 million. You got kids going into coaches' offices saying, I'll sign with the school if you give my father $500,000, buy a house over here. When did this shit stop? I see Pell every day. They got these young kids playing football or basketball. Do it stop at elementary? You start paying the parents, letting them wear Nikes and Adidas and all this other shit that they throw at these kids. But what about the kids that run track or play other sports?
Right.
They're not gonna get those kind of contracts.
Right. I think traditionally we've seen a lot of players at U of M, MSU, who don't have money. They're struggling. I mean, they're on scholarships, so they don't have to pay for tuition, but they've been struggling. And so now there should be some way that there's some equity where, okay, maybe the quarterback who's a star gets more money, but it's more evenly distributed so that everybody kind of makes out in the end.
I see. Go ahead, Vanessa.
What I'm going to say is this. You never thought back in the day, y'all talk about, Magic Johnson and whatever vehicle he was driving. You never thought you would see the day where college athletes would get paid. I say that this is ever evolving. And I don't see how anybody could comfortably say, well, they don't think that the track stars and those people who participate in those other sports that they may not get the money. They will. And the other thing is this.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Talked about.
No, I don't think so. How many people gonna see track all the time?
You don't think so, and I have a different opinion, and I get to have a different opinion.
Well, you can have a different opinion, but your opinion ain't that because that's not true.
I need you to
listen.
Well,
track stars is not gonna get anything. Go ahead, Vanessa. Go ahead.
Listen. I don't think the way that the rest of you guys think, and that is okay. I'm saying this, that if we never thought that we would see the day where these athletes would get paid. They're getting paid. When you say, well, what about this athlete who's not getting anything? I say we all know that life is not fair, okay? That's the way.
And it's not fair, but
well, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Look at all the old athletes, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's and stuff, and I can tell when they talk about today's NBA players or today's football players, they jealous as hell. They think these guys and ladies are getting too much money because they didn't get the money. It's
I
like,
think,
oh, man, we didn't get paid like that.
yeah, I think first
And
of
they
all,
not that
Vanessa,
good.
when Vanessa, you say life's not fair, well, they have
No.
an opportunity to make life fairer. That's one thing. And the other thing is when you talk about the other programs, look, as far as I know, the only two programs that really bring in revenue for like the University of Michigan are basketball and football. Nobody's paying to go to a track meet. Maybe hockey, hockey's making a little money, but really the real money is in football. I mean, it's a monster of a program. But there's no reason that you have to tell kids, tough shit, you're not as good. It's like the university should try to have some equity there and try to make it fairer. Who's to say why can't we make life fairer if we can? That's just
Listen,
I did
all I'm saying is college sports. What I'm hearing that, and I agree with you and Vanessa that they should be compensated, should get paid. But damn, now a bidding war goes on, and I'm gonna give an 8th grader $20 million to sign with my school, or you know what? That's just crazy.
right.
I think it's crazy.
Do you think
Yeah.
the swim team's getting paid? Do you think the
No.
volleyball team's
No.
getting paid?
No.
Doesn't it?
No.
So it's a very small group of people.
There's no
But
revenue.
it-
There's no revenue coming. There's no revenue coming in from those programs, but it's not to say that they can't take a little revenue so that there's at least students are living in poverty, because being a student and being an athlete is pretty much all consuming. I mean, being a student can be all consuming, and then to be an athlete as well, that's a full-time job. And so
Do
where
I
do
go
you
to
know-
class? I
Yeah.
make $500,000 a year. Do I go to
Of
class?
course not.
Do I do a term paper? Do I get a thesis?
Wouldn't it be better if Larry Ellison gave $12 million just to the university for scholarship?
No. The way the game is played, no. Listen, I'm happy for the University of Michigan to get this young man. He's
Right.
a once in a lifetime generational player, and I'm happy for his family. What about the families that's going to exploit some of these kids? Just like they exploit these child actors, and some of these kids, they become the breadwinners of the family, and then you got relatives and everybody else got their hand out. It should be some safeguard,
Yeah.
shouldn't it be?
Yep.
Anybody?
Hello,
Yeah.
Burnell. Hello to you. Don't like my music. You woke up with us this morning. Thanks for tuning in today. After putting up with us last night.
You said
But anyway, that's just my take on.
And no, I'll say one other thing. Look, when you're playing, particularly
because I
particularly
can't.
when you're playing football, your body's exposed to a lot of danger there. And I know people who were pro bound who got injured and they never made it to the pros. They never made a dime. At Michigan State, I knew somebody who was a lineman who broke his leg and never made it to the pros. He was pro material. And it's risky.
Don't they have insurance policies? Don't they have insurance policies?
Yeah, I mean, the upside is that you can keep players till their senior year if they're getting paid. Why not? If you're getting paid that kind of money, you don't have to rush into the pros.
Listen, let me say this. I agree with you, Adolph, that there should be some guardrails. But you asked me at the top, Vanessa, if you had a son or sons, I'm like, get the money, bottom line. And guess what? Not fair. We live in a capitalistic society. Listen, if you have an 8th grader and they say that this 8th grader has the star potential, you think a parent is going to say no to that? Go ahead and go to school and get a degree? No, they're not going to say that, because guess what? People want to make money so they can live better lives.
Why don't we stop the charade then? If they don't have to go to school.
College degree, if you can do it without getting a college degree, then so be it. I mean, that's the reality.
Make a minor league out of the pros. But anyway, let's take a break and come back. We can continue the conversation. Detroit in black and white. We here at McShane with Vanessa Moss, attorney Vanessa Moss, Allan Lengel, co-founder of Deadline Detroit, former police chief from Trenton, Jim Nardone. I'm Adolph Mongo. We'll be right back.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a ninth grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Well, we welcome back here. We at McShane's. It's soccer time, and I played soccer in in gym, and all you do is run up and down the field. I don't get it. It's hard to watch the shit on TV.
I played soccer, and I actually cracked my elbow playing soccer. It's pretty fun, and I think it's.
You got to be in shape. You got to be in shape to play it. I look great athletes, but it's just 1-0. All this other shit, I don't get it. And it's the most popular sport in the world. In South America, they kill if you don't bring home the goal and all this other stuff. It's
like
crazy.
Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, but you know what? Every week, McShane's have soccer. They love it. But anyway, let's move on. Unless you got something to add to
I want to say
$1 million.
that I've gone to the soccer, a few soccer games over in Hamtramck, the city soccer team. And actually, once you learn the rules and get an understanding of it and appreciate some of the skills that some of the players have, it becomes more interesting. And like any sport, in any sport, once you get to know who the players are, the personalities and stuff like that, makes it even more interesting. I mean, like the Lions, so many of the personalities and the team and the owners and stuff like that. So it becomes only more interesting to watch.
I watch the Lions, Tigers. But go ahead.
Well, they're going to have a new stadium
Right.
at the old Southwest General Hospital.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. I want to move on and talk about there was 100,000 people last night to watch the lighting of a fucking Christmas tree. That a great thing for Detroit downtown. The traffic was crazy.
Yeah.
Allan, did you go? Oh, no, you didn't.
I'm holed up here for a while, but I mean, I think anything that a gathering for the city is great, particularly if there's no problems. And it's pulled off successfully. I watched a little bit of it on TV. It's kind of goofy, but it was fine. It's I think anytime there's infusion, there's electricity, there's energy in the city, I think it's good. And while we're speaking of that, if you go down the street from where you guys are right now, Michigan Central is I think you should check out. They've got a lot of stuff going on for the holidays. They've got concerts, they've got some pop-ups, and I think one of the restaurants, Folk, which is on Trumbull, is just open yesterday there. So I'm hoping that becomes really a sort of a community gathering for cool events.
But in the midst of all this, as I was driving downtown yesterday, you got a lot of homeless people sleeping on the streets.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't have the homeless camps like other cities have, but we got our homeless, and it was cold yesterday, and I saw all these people laying out on the sidewalks and all this other stuff. How do we deal with that, Vanessa?
What would you deal with it? I see the police out all the day. They have a task force to go out and encourage the people and take them somewhere to warming centers and that kind of thing. But I got a question to ask you. Are you the Grinch or something? You got a problem with the lighting of the Christmas tree and people?
Yeah, I do, because I don't believe in all that bullshit. But you know what? But because listen, fine. If somebody want to go down and freeze their ass off and light a fucking Christmas tree, go be it. I don't have a problem with that.
I've been there, but I want to talk about, you don't like my music. He's asking about Tiger Stadium. No, it is no longer there. Tiger Stadium is not here, but we have a beautiful PAL facility here where they play soccer and baseball and other things over there, right? It's really nice over there. So anyway,
okay, go ahead.
I've been to the tree lighting. Detroit is a victim of its own success. So we have events like the tree lighting. We had the draft. Every restaurant, every bar, everything is packed. So it's good for the city, right?
And they lit up the Salvation Army bagging cattle. You know, listen, I guess I'm not into that, Vanessa.
You know, a joyous event for people. People look forward to doing it. I have friends who are going down. Actually, I have people who call me and say, "Are you going to participate?" And I said, "No, I'm going to go dancing this weekend."
Are you going to the parade? Are you going to the Thanksgiving parade?
No.
The Thanksgiving parade is right outside where I am. I usually go, but this time, because of my leg being busted up, I probably will not go out there. But it's right outside the door. I think the parade is a great thing. It's always a nice gathering. I mean, I'm not sure if I didn't live downtown. I mean, I used to live near Comerica Park, which is also right there. I'm not sure how big of an effort I would do to go there, but generally, it's a nice event. A lot of people come out, and then the Lions game is right after that. They have a run. They have the 5K turkey trot.
If I had kids, I would probably do the parade. When my kids were younger, I would take them out, and they got to the point where they said, "We don't feel like standing outside in the cold watching this." So, as a result,
I don't stand outside the cold. I just watch the Christmas tree where I used to wake up waiting for Santa Claus to come to the projects as a kid, and he never came. You know, till some neighbor kids told me that your mama or father look in the closet or under the bed. There's some toys, and you know what? That was right. There was no Santa Claus because we didn't have a chimney anyway. He would have to break the door down to get in our house.
So I was just going to add, we are at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull, guests of Bob Roberts and McShane's Pub, which is right at the corner where the old Tiger Stadium was. So we are looking at the facility right here, the old Tiger Stadium. And this area, they said, was not going to make it, right?
Oh, the area is vibrant. The area is evolving. And I'm glad that this area is doing its thing, is moving down in Southwest Detroit. What about the other areas, though? My thing is, you know what? And people are pissed all the time saying, and I've heard it 30 years ago or 40 years ago, you always concentrate on downtown. Well, downtown is the living room of Detroit and of Michigan, and that comes back. I hope it's a trickle effect, but we really haven't seen it yet where you got a lot of development in some of these hardcore neighborhoods, especially in the Gratiot area which really needs it.
Well, I think we're seeing during the Duggan administration, at least some of the neighborhoods that were premier neighborhoods that were on the decline: Palmer Woods, Indian Village, Sherwood
Palmer Woods
Forest.
wasn't on the decline, Allan.
Well, I think it was kind of, but I think
No,
but they become popular. They've become more popular with young people and stuff. Young people are moving in. I think we're seeing a rejuvenation there, but there are neighborhoods still. You go through some of the neighborhoods in Detroit, and it still looks like it hasn't recovered from 1967. I mean, you can go down certain parts of the Grand River. You can go down Oakland.
Don't blame it on 67. Listen, the Packer plant closed in 54.
Yeah.
So it ain't just 67.
No, but 67 had a big impact.
Listen. Adolph, you talk about Gratiot. I don't know when the last time you drove into the neighborhoods off Gratiot, but there is a resurgence of a lot of neighborhoods off.
A little bit, just a little bit. That's it. Listen, I drove there. I drive there all the time. Okay, Miss Gratiot.
Okay, no, Miss Detroit. That's what you need to call me. Okay.
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
yeah.
When we start getting real shopping and grocery stores and stuff. Listen, I'm tired of going to little small dinky ass towns across the country, and they got 5 TJ Maxx and Target and all this shit. We got nothing here. No shopping, no grocery stores. A few. And I'm not knocking the people that stay here and try to supply us with goods. But, you know, we got a food desert. We got a retail desert. We don't have shit.
You know, it's interesting. Several years ago, I mean, when Whole Foods moved in, and people wondered whether it was going to make it or not. When I go to Whole Foods, it's booming. I go to Myers and I go to Harbortown Market.
But you want to hear about Whole Foods? The folks that brought Whole Foods in beg Whole Foods to build a bigger Whole Foods, not the one that they got, because I've seen bigger stores, and the folks at Whole Foods said, we don't think we can make it in Detroit. And yet, that's one of the most highest grossing Whole Foods here in Michigan.
Let me tell you that
they don't believe in this shit.
Whole Foods in DC, they built a Whole Foods in a neighborhood that was kind of run down. It boomed. And, you know, where Whole Foods right now, you know, the neighborhood has grown. But what I was going to say is I wrote a column. I called Trader Joe's, and I said, you guys got to move into the city. You guys would kill it in the city. Their prices are better than Whole Foods. Some of their products are better. And they were just like, no, we're just not. It's just not in our plans. They won't. I mean, I give Whole Food credit that they've gone into urban areas, but Trader Joe's won't do it.
Let me ask you this, Allan. When you called Trader Joe's, did they know who you were?
I told them I was a reporter. I said I'm a reporter. I'm doing a column. I said I was wondering why you guys aren't in the city, and I talked to them, and I said you would kill it in Detroit.
Well, but you know what? During the Black Lives Matter protests and shit, where they was marching up and down Michigan Avenue, I said, this is the time to put a list of demands from our corporate folks. And they never did anything. All they did was march up and down. And they put a big Black Lives Matter down on Woodward. They didn't do shit.
Let me say
this was the time to make some demands. This was time to make some demands and say, why you not in the city?
Let me say this,
Go ahead,
Adolph.
Vanessa.
Don't have nothing. First of all, that's not true. What is true is that we don't have enough. What is true is that we are evolving. And so when we make sweeping...
Evolving into what? What we evolving into?
Listen, you do have some stores. Not enough.
Like
but
what?
You are,
name the store.
Okay. Honeybee Market is a great grocery store.
I'm not talking about the local stuff. We got a lot of local stuff.
Yeah.
I like Honeybee. We got local stuff. I admit that. I'm
You
talking
said
about the other stuff.
shopping stores. You have the what is that? The Nike store downtown. You have the Lululemon store downtown.
Yes,
You have,
so I can't. I gotta wear some Nike all
Shinola?
the time.
Shinola?
but listen, you sitting up there complaining, but the fact of the matter
Yeah, I am gonna
you made a
complain.
statement that's not true, though.
Gonna complain.
You
I
made
am
a
gonna
definitive
complain.
statement
I
that
am
is
gonna
not
complain.
true.
I am
You
gonna
said there was
complain.
nothing. That is not.
Hold that thought.
Sir.
I'm gonna let you come back and beat me up. When we come back, you can beat me up. We're gonna
True.
take a break. We're gonna come back with Attorney Vanessa Moss. And this is Detroit in Black and White.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a ninth grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabria, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, we're back here. And when we left, Vanessa was telling me that what I'm saying was a lot of bullshit, right?
No, I didn't say that. The statement that you made was not true. You said we have nothing. We do. We have Flo's Boutique, which is in Cass Corridor. We also have Savvy Chic, which is in Eastern Market. So you don't just have to buy Nike clothes. You also have downtown. You have H&M. You also have a store, a boutique right there on Cass where you can get custom-made denim. Stop talking about what we
Lululemon.
May not have.
Lululemon don't.
Gucci.
I'm boycotting Lululemon.
You got Gucci.
No, the founder of Lululemon said that he did not design his clothes for black women. That's what he said.
That shirt that you have on, it probably wasn't designed for a black man, but you're wearing it anyway. So stop it, sir.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe so.
You know what? I would like to give a shout out to Myers for a couple reasons. One, during our strike, they were one of the few major stores that boycotted the papers at the request of the union. They did not advertise, but also they've got a store at 8 and Woodward. They've got one around 6 and Grand River, and they've got one, the market on Jefferson, which is nice.
So we need to pay homage to them because they want to make more money in Detroit. That's just smart business.
Yeah. I think it's great that they've shown a commitment to the city of Detroit. I mean, they've got 3 supermarkets, and they are sensitive to unions and all that stuff. So I give them a shout out.
Okay, Jim, you were going to say something.
One of our viewers was talking about young people and jobs in Detroit, and I think things are looking up. They're not like they were. I remember back a few years ago when the GM building and the Fisher building, that area was really busy with young people. Burroughs was over there, right? Wasn't that Burroughs?
Yeah, it went out of business.
And those jobs are gone. and I don't
Long
think they're
time
coming.
ago.
But I do see a lot more young people. We're the only old people on the corner down here today. So
There's no question. And I like young folks. We need to have young people. Vanessa, you got a bright, smart, young son. And I like the future is here in the city. And we need to get rid of all these old ass folks that been holding on to whatever power. They ain't brought shit back to the city. So when I say there's nothing, that's what I'm talking about. You know, status quo all the time. You can't make changes. You can't do this. You can't do that. That's why Harris ain't the president, because we had all these old ass folks running the state campaign here in the city.
I'll say not so much in the neighborhood, but I think in downtown, I think the pandemic, we saw some of the new restaurants that had just come in the year before who went out of business, never came back. But we're seeing a resurgence of new restaurants, which I'm amazed because it's such a tough business. But Detroit's got a lot of great
restaurants. People
restaurants.
can't afford the restaurants,
Right.
Allan.
No, you're right.
They can't.
You're right.
Let me say this. You talk about young folks and you talk about young people who need, jobs. Some of them don't want jobs. Some of them want careers, and a lot of them are.
See, now you talking a BS now. There's a whole lot of people want jobs.
Let me say
they want to be on TikTok. That's a job, ain't it?
And they can make money off of TikTok. Okay,
that's a job. That's a job.
My point is this: that a lot of young people are creative. A lot of them are working from home, so you're not going to see them walking up and down Michigan Avenue or up and down Woodward Avenue, because they've created spaces for themselves. I do agree with you, though, that it is incumbent upon us as the elders or as the people that are seasoned in our communities to pass our knowledge down and to pass the baton.
But we don't. We got folks elected in office that's been there. Look at the damn county commission. We got people over there, 80-something fucking years old, sitting up there, got 18 pensions, getting a check from here, getting a check from there. They need to be over in Florida somewhere doing the shit. They don't do nothing. It just.
Why are you talking about us old people like that?
Because I'm old. Because I can talk about myself. Listen. I like young folks. People gave me a chance when I was a young person. Allan, they gave you a chance. When Duggan was 25, 26, McNamara made him the deputy county exec. And you know what? And I like that. You know what? When you get young folks, I got hired with Coleman Young, a couple other people. We were in our 20s. You know what? And you get to have a new blood, but you can't hold on to stuff. And we have politicians. We got an 81-year-old president. We got a 78, 79 incoming president.
And how old Nancy Pelosi? Like 108?
Nancy Pelosi, 250. She was married to the Muslim.
She went to Washington when Washington was there?
Yeah, right. But you know what? But you got Mitch McConnell. He was with Columbus when he came over.
You got Grassley. How old is Grassley? He's been there. He's probably in his upper 80s.
But as I'm saying, we got to change the narrative of who's going to run this city and who's going to run the state, and etc. So when you got a 17, we go back to where we started at. When you got a 17-year-old that got $12 million in his pocket, and he's still in high school, and damn, you create Frankenstein. That's what we're doing. We create Frankenstein. You remember Uncle Festus?
He did.
Remember Uncle Festus from the Adams family? He was making $1 million a year in 1920 as a 5, 6, and 7-year-old. His parents, his mother and stepfather, spent all his money. He spent
believe
all
that.
his money. They
Yep.
got the Coogan law, Jackie Coogan, and they still, Gary Coleman, adopted parents, stole all his money
Right. Sure.
as a kid. And people try to talk about Gary Coleman, say he fucked up, he did this. Gary Coleman found out that one, he was adopted, two, they stole all his money. He made millions as a kid. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You can listen to Drew Barrymore and say that she didn't know how old she was because she was paying all the bills as a 10-year-old. They depend on her. So if we go back to what we talked about in the beginning, 12 million, 14 million, who's running the show?
I think it's time to start putting those 10-year-olds to work.
Yeah, well, they've been working. Go ahead, Vanessa.
All I'm going to say is what I said before. Listen, if it was my kid, he's 17 years old.
You smart, Vanessa. You smart. You know what to do. But some of these folks that don't know, I ain't lying. It's like, and we're gonna end in this story. When I went away to the University of Michigan, I got all these scholarships and grants and stuff, and they gave you the money, and I paid my tuition and housing and stuff. And I get a call from my mother saying, "You take care of your housing and your tuition?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You must have had, a couple dollars left." I said, "Yeah." She said, "How much?" I said, $5,000. She didn't say anything. The next day, knock on my dorm door is my old man. He said, "Let's go to the bank." They came and took the money. And my roommate said, "Why did you tell your parents you had that?" I said, "Because I tell them everything." You know what? They left me $1,000 in my bank account, but the next semester I didn't get all that, and they had to pay. It works out. Listen, all I'm saying is when you got responsible parents, they look out for you. Yeah. When you don't have responsible parents and you don't have responsible relatives, they exploit you and they take all your shit and they move on and they leave you hanging. Yeah. Vanessa, your final thoughts.
Listen, if you're watching Detroit in black and white, we want you to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. We want you to come back Wednesday evening at 8:30. I want everybody to have a wonderful and safe weekend. For those people who are going to participate in Thanksgiving by having a meal and giving thanks for just being here on earth. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys Wednesday evening.
Allan?
I'm just going to say, I have a particular fondness for the Michigan Central because I did a piece for the New York Times in June about its opening and impact on the neighborhoods. And so I've been following, and there's a lot of programs and concerts, and I encourage people to go check it out. It's really Ford did a magnificent job. Of course, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars restoring it.
Let's thank Matty Maroon because he didn't tear it down.
Yeah. Well, the city wanted to tear it down.
He did tear it down. Jim.
Be the Change just made an excellent comment, and I agree with you on your comment about college football. But I just want to take 1 minute and thank all our viewers. Everybody that's out there, you could be doing a million different things on this Saturday morning. I wanted to say thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. And if you know one other person, tell that one other person to tune in and participate. We appreciate all the comments.
And Vanessa, listen, I have to commend you. You like to dance and stuff. I wish I knew how to dance and do what you do. Enjoy yourself.
You know what? My friend Marty Greenberg, when he was single, he would be at a party and he'd say, he'd tell a woman, he'd say, "Yeah, my father was a dancer." And they go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, he died dancing at the end of a rope." That was his line.
Listen, Allan, that's why you ain't coming here for a long time. This is Detroit in black and white. I want to thank Teresa. we're gonna get her on camera one day. And I want to thank all the folks that watch us on YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, Billygram, and all the grams.
Our websites.
All the websites and stuff.
Honeygram.
I'm
Headline Detroit.
I'm Adolph Mongo, Vanessa Moss, Allan Lengel, and Jim Nardone. We'll be back on
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Eve.
Thanksgiving Eve. We're gonna be eating some turkeys.